Do you like rattlesnakes? Well, do I have a surprise for you? None other than the iconic timber rattlesnake. Now, if you're new here, I post videos on venomous snakes, so if that's something you enjoy, please subscribe. The timber rattlesnake, again an iconic species of snake. This snake is from the eastern United States, and the thing about that is they used to be found in many states, other states than they are now, and even southern Canada, but they've been wiped out, completely eradicated. It's a shame. And now the prey that they would eliminate in those areas is now abundant, that now in some areas they want to reintroduce populations of the timber rattlesnake. Of course, it stops when I go up for a close-up. The scientific name, Crotalus horridus. Now, they used to have a subspecies. The canebrake rattlesnake used to be considered a subspecies. Some people still go by that classification, and then other people classify them the same species. And scientifically, they are the same species. But again, some people still consider the canebrake rattlesnake a subspecies of the timber rattlesnake. And that's due to little variation in their color. And also the geographic range of the canebrake phase, further south. Now you can see with this timber rattlesnake, kind of tannish with black. They also come in different color phases. The black phase, which can be very dark black, you can't even see a pattern hardly, or even black with very visible pattern. So black phase, this tan phase, and there's different variations. Some of the black ones have even orange in their pattern. Very beautiful. I've never personally found a black phase timber rattlesnake, gotten call outs to relocate them, but I've never personally found one. The ones that I find are always these tan phased timber rattlesnakes. Now, this time of year here in the eastern United States, they are in what's known as brumation. Similar to hibernation, the only difference is the metabolic process is involved. But they'll spend many months in brumation, and where they're denning during this time, they'll be denning with other species of snake, such as the copperhead, black rat snake, other snakes. How cool is that? They're all just sitting there over these cold months together, just waiting it out. Now, going off of their den sites, let's talk about some of the habitat they're found in. Now, they can be found in rocky outcrops, which is typically where they're going to be found denning in the crevices of rocks. But the males and females that are not gravid, which means not pregnant, they will travel, and you can find them in covered wooded areas. So a lot of the males will travel even long distances. And the cool thing about timber rattlesnake, they will go to the same den site. So they'll travel all the way back to the same den that they were in, and they'll use that for the rest of their life. Isn't that amazing? And the gravid females will bask out in the sun right on that rocky outcrops outside of their den site. Awesome. Now to go over some more description of these, how big they get. They can get quite large. They can get up to 5 feet long, even a little bit longer. The longest one I've ever worked with was 5 feet long. How amazing is that? Now these will feed on many animals. They will feed on rodents. They will feed on birds and other small mammals, lizards, but mainly mammals. The thing with the timber rattlesnake that's also amazing is they'll use scent trails. So they can see an area where prey passes by regularly, and they'll sit there and wait. So by fallen trees, they'll sit by the log waiting there for prey to pass by. And that is sometimes what leads to accidental bites. So when somebody's stepping over, let's say, the snake is going to think it's a prey really quick and bite. It's not on purpose. And once they realize what it is, they know it's not prey and a mistake's been made. But that is sometimes how accidental bites occur. And during those situations, it's less likely to be a dry bite, which means no venom's injected. It's most likely going to be a wet bite, venom injected, because they are waiting for prey and they think it's prey that's going to pass by. But speaking on bites, let's talk about their venom. Now the thing with the timber rattlesnake, they have many ranges up in the rocky areas, out in the forested areas, and out in the cane fields. So their venom varies. Hemotoxic, and some have neurotoxins in their venom. And talking about that, we're going to bring up the southern Pacific rattlesnake because there's lots of studies with them and showing the difference in their venom based on geographic location. So the ones out in California in the desert floor have venom that affects the blood, hemotoxic venom, because they can bite their prey, wait for it to die, and track it down. But those that are in the rocky areas, still the southern Pacific rattlesnake, have neurotoxic venom because they can't afford to bite and then the rodent run into a rocky crevice and never be found. So they have to kill the animal quickly, and that's why they have the neurotoxic venom in those areas. So venom is very complex, and again, that shows it's for the prey. So depending on where the rattlesnake is, depending on the area, geographic range of the rattlesnakes in that area, can determine whether there's presence of neurotoxic venom. And again with venom, how I mentioned they eat mammals. Let's talk about the benefits to humans. When they're eating these mammals, they're targeting the sick animals. You see the pits? These are pit vipers. They can tell the temperature of the animal. They'll target the sick ones. And even if it's not sick, the mammals they're eating will be covered in ticks, and they're eliminating those ticks when they eat the animal. So it's also reducing Lyme disease. So that's a little fact about these guys. They're eliminating ticks from the environment, which benefits us in the form of eliminating Lyme disease. How amazing is that? Another thing with rattlesnake venom, very complex again, but there's properties in it to treat diseases, things like Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and things like that. Isn't that just amazing? These animals are so important. Now, historical fact, the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. You know the rattlesnake on that flag. That is a timber rattlesnake. It's an icon. And I believe it's Ben Franklin who said that these are the representatives of America, where they are not ones to go out and hurt, but they will defend themselves. And that's the same for snakes. And we're going to talk about their disposition, their behavior. These, of course, rattlesnakes will rattle to let you know where they are so they don't get stepped on. But they're very calm. I've caught thousands of these. Never, actually only one time has had one strike, even if it's rattling. As you can see, it's been rattling throughout this video, not striking. But even out in the wild, only had one strike. And the reason for that, it was on the road. I had to run to get it off of the road really quickly. Spooked it, it struck. It's the only time. I also talked to Rich DiMartino. Rich has worked with timber rattlesnakes in Pennsylvania for over 50 years. He's never had one strike unless they're pit tagging them, which is capturing them to put tags on them to track them and get data from them. It's the only time he's ever had one strike. He also mentioned a myth that people bring up about rattlesnakes, the timber rattlesnakes, that the black timber rattlesnakes are all male, which is not true. They can be either male or female. And with the reproduction of these, this snake, again, very important, but they take many years to become sexually reproductive. And even then, they reproduce about once every 3 years. So when people are killing these animals, first of all, the babies are not all going to survive regardless of human interference. But when you're killing them, you're also reducing it even more, causing great damage to these snakes. They're threatened in many areas. They're very rare in some parts of the United States, also protected in many areas. These are very important and iconic animals. Again, we got to start treating our native wildlife better. These are icons. Any animal documentary about the United States, you'll always see rattlesnakes. Icons. Another thing affecting these guys is snake fungal disease. Many of them can be found with this fungal disease. It's affecting many snakes here in the United States. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on, again, the iconic timber rattlesnake. Just amazing animals. And I'm sure I forgot many things because I do just click record and go off the top with what I say in my videos. So I'm sure I forgot a lot, but hope you enjoyed regardless. Love you all. Subscribe if you're new. Check out my other videos as well. Take care, everyone. Yeah, that's usually what I do.